Hello students, welcome back to my channel Biology with Priya. Topic for this video is pollination and fertilization, part 3. In this video, we will study agents of pollination. Topics to be covered in this video are agents of pollination, wind pollination, water pollination, pollination by insects, pollination by animals, pollination by birds, and lastly, some important questions. As you have already studied, that the pollination is the transfer of pollens from anther to the stigma of the same plant or maybe to the different plant. Now this pollination is of two types, that is self-pollination and cross-pollination. Now if the pollen grains are transferred from anther to the stigma of the same plant, then we call it as self-pollination. But if the pollen grains are transferred from the anther to the stigma of different plants, then it is called as cross-pollination. These vectors can be wind, water, insect, birds and animals. So let's begin with wind pollination. Pollination by wind is known as anemophily. Now here wind blows away anthers to one flower to the stigma of the other flower. Such flowers which undergo pollination by insects are generally, these flowers are very small. These flowers are colorless. These flowers don't produce scent or nectar. Pollen produced in such flowers is very large in quantity. The pollens are light, dry, and sometimes they are winged so that they can move easily. Anthers are long and loosely attached. Stigmas hang out of the plant of the flower so that they can trap the pollen grains which are present in the air. You can see this in the figure. The pollens are released and the pollens are caught by the feathery stigmas. You can see this in examples like wheat, rice, grasses, bamboos. Water pollination. Pollination by water is known as hydrophily. Pollination in aquatic plants is carried out by water. Water pollinated flowers release their pollen grains into the water and are carried to other flowers by water current. Such flowers remain at the surface of the water, like in the case of Vallisneria, and some are totally submerged in the water, like Zosteria. Now, in such flowers, nectar and odor are absent and the flowers are very small. Pollen produced is in very large quantity and male and female flowers are borne on separate plants. Here you can see the figure which is showing male and female flowers on separate plants. Examples are Vallisneria and Hydrilla. Pollination by insects. Pollination by insects is known as entomophily. Insects visit flowers for nectar. During this process, some pollen, what happens? It sticks to the bodies of the visiting insect. As the stigma is sticky and thus catches the pollen which is attached to the insect. Here the insect pollinated flowers are large and they are brightly colored so that Insects can be attracted from long distances. The flowers often have a very pleasant smell. Examples are jasmine, rose, sunflower. The main pollinating insects are butterflies, bees, and different moths. Here in insect pollinated flowers, the petals are large, colored, and they are attractive. In the figure, you can see that the pollen sticks to the body of the insects, and now this insect carries the pollen to the another flower, and this pollen, which is attached to the body of the insect, falls on the stigma of the other flower. Pollination by animals. Animal pollinated flowers are known as zoophilies. Pollination by elephant is called as elephophily. It is found in Rafflesia flower, where flowers are very large. The pollen grains of one flower get attached to the feet of the elephant and may be carried to the stigma of the other flower. Animal pollinated flowers have larger flower and less pollens. There are some flowers which are pollinated by small mammals like rats and the bats. Here figure में आप देख सकते हैं rats pollination में help कर रहे हैं. Pollination by birds. Pollination by birds is known as ornithophily. Birds' pollinated flowers are generally red-orange. As the birds are highly sensitive to such colors, they produce a plenty of nectar. Flowers are without scent because birds do not have any sense of smell. The flowers that are visited by the birds are tubular in shape and have petals that are recurved to be out of the way. They have tubes, funnels and cups. They tend to be unscented. These birds, they have long beaks which carry the pollination. Example, bottlebrush, bombex, honeysuckles. And lastly, we come to some questions. They are, name a flower which is pollinated by insect. Next, name an insect pollinated flower. Next, write three differences between insect pollinated and wind pollinated flowers. What are the advantages of the following in the flowers to the plant concerned? First one, bright and colored petals. Next, long and feathery stigma. Next question is, how are the pollen grains of wind pollinated flowers? So children, I hope कि आपको ये टॉपिक्स जो आज हमने पढ़ाए हैं आपको समझ में आए होंगे. So thanks for watching the video. Please like, subscribe and share my channel Biology with Priya Jain. कोई भी queries है आपको, you can use the comment section. Thank you.